Chuck. It's really important that I stress the American Rescue Plan dollars should be used for this.
What's up, you guys? It's Steve here with some pretty incredible news coming out today as we're hearing that Congress is going to be accessing excess stimulus funds from the American Rescue Plan, left over $800 billion. They're going to be tapping into that, and today we're hearing there could be executive actions from the president to address the student loan debt crisis that we are currently in. We're hearing that there's going to be an extension of the moratorium, wiping out $10,000 of student loan debt and addressing the teacher shortage. This all could be happening today using excess stimulus funds. Now, first off, let me know your thoughts, as a lot of people have vocalized here on the channel that this should not be the top priority. This is money that could be used for stimulus checks, child tax credits. There's an assortment of different things, Social Security increases, but they're going to be using it for $10,000 of student loan debt per borrower, we're hearing, which is essentially like they're giving out $10,000 stimulus checks to those with student loans. Should this be something that's done? How much of the leftover money are they going to be using? Well, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage and the articles coming out today addressing what's going to be unfolding, we're hearing, in an announcement from the president very shortly. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, first off, you guys, take a look at this headline coming out. Biden's student loan plans caught in inflation debate crosshairs, as a lot of people are saying this is going to be adding to the nation's debt and inflation. However, as I mentioned, we're hearing they're going to be tapping into those excess funds. I've shared with you $800 billion of leftover stimulus package funds. Now, very quickly, this article says that the Biden administration is expected on Wednesday today to announce that it is canceling a chunk of student debt, even as it faces criticism that's going too far could hamper efforts to fight off inflation. Some progressive Democrats have argued that the forgiveness of student debt could help their party and Biden in the midterm elections. And we've heard from Senator Joe Manchin, I've reported this to you before, that everything that Congress is doing right now, we all know it, is focused on the elections. So right when the elections come is when things start to happen in Congress. Now, it says debt could help the party and Biden in the midterm elections, given the crushing debt facing millions of students. Yet there is also reason to think that the plan carries some real political risk. Recent polling shows that the majority of Americans are worried about the impacts of debt forgiveness plans that they could have on inflation, a huge issue in these midterms. Now, under the potential forgiveness plan, borrowers earning less than $125,000 per year could see at least $10,000 in cancellation of the federal student loans. The amount is much lower than many progressives aimed for, but would mark the most significant forgiveness in federal student debt for borrowers ever. Now, we heard progressives pushing for $50,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, saying that would wipe out the majority of borrowers' debt. But they're saying that forgiveness, keep in mind, it doesn't just go away. It's almost like they're handing out $50,000 stimulus checks, and in this case, $10,000 stimulus checks. And a lot of people are saying we should not send out any more stimulus. We don't want to cause any more inflation. Other people are saying, well, if you're going to do that, why don't you do it for everybody, for all? Send out stimulus checks, not just to student loan borrowers. Now, let me know your thoughts, you guys, but I reported this to you yesterday. The breaking news coming out that we're going to have this announcement here shortly. Now, as soon as this comes out, I'll be reporting it here on the channel, giving you all the details. We're not exactly sure what all is going to be included in this, but we're hearing that this is going to be the first of many executive actions unfolding. I've been sharing it with you here on the channel that after the passage of that reconciliation bill, that was huge, because then after that, all the provisions that were not included in there, stimulus checks, child tax credits, Social Security increases, all the things that Democrats said we were going to get, they were likely going to be coming afterwards in a series of executive actions by the president right around midterm elections. And you guys, I pose the question to you, is it going to be enough? We're hearing it's the strategy right now of Democrats to pass all these things right before, let voters see all of the provisions coming their way right before they hit the polls to keep them in power. Do you think it's enough? Do you think that after 2 years of promises, then fulfilling them, it's going to be enough to help out the American people and convince them to keep those Democrats in Congress in power? Let me know your thoughts, you guys. Now, also, we're hearing, though, like I mentioned, that it's going to work. We actually heard from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who recently came out and said stimulus is going to win the elections. And if the Democrats, if they stick to this plan, people are going to forget the past 2 years and they're going to remember what they see right now in front of them, which is stimulus checks, child tax credits, student loan forgiveness. and they're going to vote to keep him in power. Let me know if you agree with that, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. But as we mentioned, $800 billion of excess funds just sitting there, and it sounds like they're going to start tapping into it possibly today and starting with student loan forgiveness. Now, $800 billion is enough to send out a fourth federal level stimulus check to everybody in the nation of $2,800. The third stimulus check that went out of $1,400, that was roughly $400 billion in spending. So there's so much excess funds that we could tap into that we could send out a fourth check with that. But today, as I mentioned, we're hearing they're going to be starting with student loan debt forgiveness. So you guys, I've got video footage for you that we're going to be diving into here in just a second. But first, also wanted to mention, check the website this morning. We are now approaching 10,000 people that want access to the relief roadmap. And you guys, I am working away to get this ready for you. I wanted to have it Monday. However, I have run into some website complications. I was up past midnight last night putting together the stimulus checks list, and I'm actually having to transfer everything to, it's hard to explain. I had like a PDF file of all of this stuff. Now I'm having to actually input it into the website. So I'm literally going stimulus check provision, each and every single program, and entering it into the website. But when it's all ready, you guys, and I'm going to do another late night tonight, make sure I get this ready for you. When it's ready, I think you guys are going to be blown away at all of these provisions. I hope it's going to be a blessing to you. I can't wait to get this out because people need to know about this, and they don't. They think there's only the federal level stimulus checks, and there's literally tons and tons. I have over 100 different programs for states, cities, counties happening right now. New ones being proposed, and in many cases, you have to apply to get these checks. You don't just get them. You gotta know about them. You gotta apply. You gotta be eligible. And how are you supposed to get the money if you don't know about it? So I'm trying to spread the word, make sure that you know about everything going on, even those ones that are gonna be coming. So that way, even if you're not eligible, at least you know, okay, I'm aware of everything going on. So again, if you guys haven't already, add your email to www.reliefroadmap.com so that way you're on the list. Going to be releasing that here soon. Just sent an email blast out yesterday. I will keep you guys up to date, hoping to get that for you in the coming days, you guys. But with that being said, let's dive into what's happening right now on a federal level for everybody in the nation regarding student loan debt and also what could be coming with more executive actions. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, the content here on this channel, smash that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Also, leave your comments. I love to hear your thoughts on this. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on cancellation of student loan debt and extending the moratorium and using the excess funds for this instead of other provisions. Also, share this out if you think it could help out other people. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is very quickly hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I'll give you the latest breaking news. I cite all my sources in the description so you can see it for yourself. I put it on the screen, read right from it so you know it's the latest. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Oh, and also consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. More content coming on that channel here very soon. Just right now, there's so much going on here on this channel, keeping you guys up to date and also getting that relief roadmap project out for you here very soon. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into some video footage and you can take a look at what we're expecting to come out today.
The Biden administration is promising to take action to address student loan debt by the end of the month.
American people will hear directly from us because we recognize this is an important issue across the country.
Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press and CBS's Face the Nation, Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said his agency is talking with the White House daily to determine whether or not to extend the current pause on student loan payments and if the administration will go further and cancel out some debt altogether.
We're not slowing down. We want to make sure that college is more accessible and more affordable.
The White House says it is considering canceling up to $10,000 in debt. But progressives are pressuring the president to go big and cancel up to $50,000 per borrower. The chair of the House Progressive Caucus Monday tweeting, "Today would be a great day to cancel student loan debt and deliver relief for millions of borrowers across the country. Let's get this done." But many Republicans are opposed.
It just seems inherently unfair.
New York Republican Congressman John Kakko says canceling student loan debt that now, after many have already paid off their loans, is wrong and won't fix the underlying problem.
I think the better thing would be to look at why is college tuition over the last several decades increased at twice the rate of inflation. And why is that? Why is college education far more expensive than buying a car?
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. There's a lot of controversy around this, as they're also saying they believe this could spark a lot of inflation. Now, also, we heard on Sunday from Miguel Cardano, the education secretary for the White House, and he's saying that they're going to be tapping into these funds, these excess stimulus funds, using it for this provision. It's an issue, a crisis that we've had for quite some time that needs to be addressed. And he's saying we're likely going to be hearing something today. So let's go ahead and take a look, you guys. Let me know your thoughts.
Joining me now is the Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona. Secretary Cardona, it's good to see you.
Hey, great to be with you again.
Look, I've seen a lot of your interviews this week, and you've talked about, look, we've got, there's a short-term crisis that we're dealing with, and we've got a long-term problem we've got to deal with. Look, you've thrown money at this, and I say this not disparagingly. The money is there to trying to deal with the short-term teacher retention bonuses and things like this. The problem is a human capital problem. You know, you guys can't legislate physical teachers for these classrooms. What is some of your answers to the long-term problem?
Well, I've seen good examples of what states are doing to address the long-term issue. Well, first of all, let me just say it is back to school time. I'm excited that our students, 50 million students are returning back to their classrooms. This is going to be a great year. And yes, we are dealing with a shortage issue, but some of the long-term solutions that we must focus on are creating grow-your-own programs. We need to tap the shoulders of our high school students, of our para-educators who are dedicated in our schools already, and give them a pathway to higher education. And we've strongly encouraged the use of the American Rescue Plan dollars to get some of this work done. And we're seeing it in Tennessee. They're working on an apprenticeship program. I visited Las Vegas, and the high school there has a partnership with UNLV to get their high school students connected into a teacher preparation program so they could be hired again. And again, I want to stress, Chuck, it's really important that I stress the American Rescue Plan dollars should be used for this. Now remember, only half of Congress voted for the American Rescue Plan, but 100% of our country can benefit from it, and that's what we're encouraging folks to do.
I tell you though, it's a bit distressing that you talked about these innovative programs, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't find, if we had a shortage in people training airline pilots, we wouldn't suddenly, hey, let's see if we can fast track people who've ridden on airplanes while they learn how to teach it. I mean, what kind of damage are we going to cause to a generation here who are going to be taught by underqualified teachers?
Well, if you've heard my interviews, you've heard me say this teacher shortage issue is a symptom of what I call a teacher respect issue. We need to respect the profession better. College graduates earn 33% more than your average teacher when they leave. And adjusted for inflation, over the last 25 years, teachers have made a $29 increase in their salary. That's unacceptable. The fact that we've normalized teachers driving Uber on the weekends to make ends meet, or working at a restaurant waiting tables to make ends meet, we have to lift the profession. We're speaking boldly about that, and we want the rest of the country to respond. This didn't start with the pandemic. It's really important that we note that. I've been in education over 20 years, 25 years. We've been talking about fighting for respect in the profession for decades.
Let me ask you this. Is there any way of taking the student debt crisis and finding a way to, I think there's a lot of people uncomfortable with just canceling student debt without something in return. Is there any way to take student debt and meet the teaching crisis and figuring out a way to incentivize, hey, we'll wipe away your debt if you give us 5 years in the school?
Yeah, that's great. And we do have examples of that across the country. Let me just mention, public service loan forgiveness was broken. We fixed it so that our teachers, our nurses can get loan forgiveness right away. We've forgiven over $10 billion in public service loan forgiveness to date. And we're asking folks to go on studentaid.gov to find out if you're eligible now. But moving forward, yes, we are encouraging the use of the American Rescue Plan dollars to offset some of those costs. That's a great way to incentivize teachers. But we're also saying Why don't we take our paraeducators and give them some college credits paid for by the American Rescue Plan dollars to address the issue? They've proven that they want to be in those schools, in those communities. Let's incentivize them going into the profession using the American Rescue Plan dollars. And although Representative Barr didn't vote for the American Rescue Plan, we know his community can benefit from it too.
I got to ask you before you go, we're 10 days away from the most recent moratorium on student debt to expire.
Yes.
Should we expect another temporary extension, or is a permanent fix coming?
You know, from day one, we've been really focused on making sure we're protecting our students and our borrowers. $32 billion in debt forgiveness from day one. We know August 31st is a date that many people are waiting to hear something from. We've been talking daily about this, and I can tell you that American people will hear within the next week or so from
it won't
the
be nothing.
and the Department of
Is it fair to
Education
say it
on what
won't
we're
be
gonna
nothing
around that. Well, I don't have any news to announce today, Chuck, but I will tell you the American people will hear directly from us because we recognize this is an important issue across the country.
All right. Secretary Cardona, the Secretary of Education, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective with us. Thank you, sir.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
So there you have it, you guys, and we will see what unfolds today, and as soon as it does, I'll be sure to report it to you here on the channel so that way you know what's going on. But it looks like this could all be taking place, and we could see the first of many executive actions coming out from the president, and then we'll see what unfolds from there. And like I said, a lot of people are waiting for those stimulus checks, child tax credits, Social Security increases, wiping out student loan debt, free college tuition, free child care, all of these provisions we had seen along the campaign trails. These promises that have not been fulfilled. The American people are feeling left in the dark, left out. But we're hearing they all could be coming back right now, and we will see if it is enough to help out the American people and convince them to keep Democrats in power. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date every step of the way. But that is the latest, you guys. And as always, thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash the like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, totally free, come join the Ram fam. Why not? Hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. And again, if you haven't already, add your email to www.reliefroadmap.com. We have nearly 10,000 people that have signed up to get access to the comprehensive list of all stimulus checks. And you guys, I am working away on that website for you. There's over 100 of them. I'm going one by one now, taking them off of my PDF, putting them into the website, so that way you'll be able to access it without any problems. Going through some technical issues, but I'm going to get it sorted out here for you guys very soon. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me once again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.